Hello friends, thanks for joining me today. Today I am creating my very first tunnel book ever. As you can see, I have a book cover here and I had already harvested all the pages and used them in various projects. But I kept the cover because it's basically a perfect square and I thought it could come in handy and be useful in a future project. Another item that I'm using, which is necessary for this particular project, is actually two copies of my sister's daughter's graduation announcement. So her announcements had a front and they had a back. So I happen to have two copies of it so I can use the front and the back. So I'm making this as a gift for my sister to remember this very special time in her daughter's life. You'll notice as I'm doing this introduction, I have cut the spine away from the book because since this is going to be a tunnel book, I'm going to have a much wider spine. The spine's going to end up being between 2.5 and 3 inches thick. As I mentioned in the beginning, I've never done this before, and I have to tell you that I am learning as I'm creating this. I did not watch any tutorials, so I can't refer you to somebody else's expertise on this, but I'm going to share with you how I did it. And would I do it different next time? I have no idea. Because I think if I do a future tunnel book, and I do plan to, they'll be different. You know, the book cover will be different. Just everything will be different about it. So I can't tell you if I would do it different next time, but I can just share with you what I've done and how I created this one. So you'll see here that I've got 12 by 12 papers, and I took probably 6 of them, maybe 8, and I folded them twice to make a perfect 6 by 6 square. One thing I know for sure is that my niece's face is the star of the show. And so you can see I've got the first graduation announcement and I'm placing it down on the paper. And I've got 2 of them. So you can see I have this image here and the one that you saw. Yes, and that one there. So the first thing I'm doing is gluing these down to a piece of the cardstock that I've folded into the 6 by 6. I figured once I got these down and in place, then I would know how to tear the paper into the proper shape. So with a tunnel book, and this one in particular, as you flip the pages, you're going to see more of my niece's face. And in the case of this one where there's 3 pictures, I'm starting off where you can see one of the pictures of her face, and then I'm tearing more for the second one, and you'll see 2 of them, and I'll tear more for the third one, and you'll see all 3 of them. And since this is the third one, I have to do that one first, and then I'm going to be building on top of that. So to explain that in a more simplistic way, I'm basically building this backwards. So I'm starting with the largest tear first, and then the next page will be a smaller tear where you see 2 images, and then the page on top of that is going to be even smaller where you'll only see one of the images. So I hope all of that makes sense. Now before I start gluing things in place and even tying the signature, we're going to call it a signature for now, or the page, in place, you can see I'm going around the edges with a marker. And then I'm going to go around that with my ink. So I'm basically just working on filling in the white space where I tore the paper. Now I'm adding glue to the inside and I'm going to fold this in half. Next, I'm going to add some glue to this blue space here, and then that's going to get folded over the picture. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this up and use clothespins so that this can dry. I've gone ahead and torn all of the other pages. I'm going to show that to you right here. I went ahead, tore them. I inked them up so there wasn't any white space showing. and I only glued together the front and the back. The other ones I have to sew in so that they can flip as pages. So that's why I didn't glue them together. I hope I'm making sense there. So that there's plenty of space to flip the pages, you'll see here that each page is its own, not signature, but each page is sewn in individually. You can see the spine is about 2.5 to 3 inches wide. Obviously this is not nearly done, but I'm flipping through here real quick so that you can see that I've sewn in each page. Now, as I mentioned before, there might be a different way to do this, but this is how I'm doing it. Now that everything is sewn in, the pages where I have the wax thread, I'm going to trim those threads so they're not sticking out the bottom. And then I'm going to grab my glue and I'm going to glue those pieces together. So where you see the wax thread here that I'm trimming, that's going to get glued together so that you do not see the wax thread. Now that the basic construction is done, the embellishing can begin, and this is really the fun part. I don't have a particular theme or thought in mind of how this is going to come together, but I will say this. I will definitely be using the pages, the colors on the scrapbook papers, I should say, as inspiration. I also went through my stash and I just picked out things that were pretty. I'd like to have a lot of florals in here, butterflies, things of that nature. I've also picked out some decorative papers that I will tear and put into place, along with some phrases and sayings. I'm not going to share all of the embellishing with you right here and right now, because at the end of this video, I do have a full flip through of this tunnel book. Before we get to that though, I want to show you that this is the book cover that I put together. So I created a spine for it. I attached that with some masking tape. Looks like the pages are going to fit perfectly inside. So now I need to go ahead and cover that spine and the tape with some fabric, and I'll do that on the front and the back of it. Well, I should say on the inside and the outside. I'm going to tear this fabric and pull out the loose threads so that we have a nice fringe on the edges. I will make sure the length of this fabric is torn to size as well, and then I will use my hot glue gun and I will glue this fabric into place. You can see that the fabric has been glued onto the inside and the outside of this book cover, and now it is time for me to glue the pages in place. You'll remember that they have their own spine, so I'm just using hot glue gun to glue it down. I'm going to keep the front cover simple as far as decorating it. I'm going to add a doily, and on top of that I'm going to add some flowers. All right, my friends, I got this done. You can see I put the doily on there and I put a flower on top of the doily. This is the spine. I was thinking about decorating the spine, but then I thought I might want to leave it very simple and very clean. If it's up on a bookshelf, this can just be what shows. And then also when you open it up and flip through it, there's nothing bulky sitting here. Since this is a gift, I don't know, I can always add something when I give it to my sister, and I can say, hey, let me know if you want me to dress this up or not. So here we go. This is my first tunnel book, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video. I left these paper pages in the front. I just left those there. I might add a little poem to it or something like that, but I'm not sure yet. So this is my niece, and you can see I tore out a circle. As we flip the pages, you'll notice that the circles get a little bit bigger and show a little bit more of her. I've decorated both sides of each page. Make sure they're both in screen. I was able to use things that sit up pretty high because each one of these pages is sewn in separately with a little bit of space in between, and of course that helps with the tunnel effect. So here's the last one. I have another one further in the book, but this is the last page of the first picture. Now here is the second one. So you can see there's a picture of her up there. This is all decorated. It says, enjoy the little things in life, capture the moment. And when we turn this page, then we see there's her there and then also here. And this says, the best way to predict your future is to create it. And this says, cherished, always, hope, key to my heart. And then when we turn this page, this is her actual graduation announcement, and now we can see all three pictures that were part of her announcement. And you can see over here it says cherish. So, and that's it. I left this blank. If my sister wants me to put something in there, I'm happy to do that. But otherwise, this is what we have. I think it turned out so beautifully. I put a lot of this in the video of how I did it, sort of put the basics in, but I did most of the embellishing on my own just so you'd have a little surprise for during the flip through. And that's it, my friends. Thanks for watching. See you soon.